Hello. Good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is. This is I Am Wright, and you're listening to the Dispatch Podcast, your 2 minutes or so, and it's always or so, of what's happening on our big ball. And apologies for last week. I believe I may have suffered a mini stroke, or what the everyman calls a transient ischemic attack, a TIA, a TIA, my Tia Maria. You know, that could explain the dysphagia I exhibited. I couldn't make sense. Well, let's start with the beer, shall we? You know, because, God, man, it's the ennui, man. What kind of apocalypse is this? There's not a zombie anywhere, or maybe we're all zombies with our masks, being scaredy cats of coofers. Or perhaps, please, zombies, come after the vaccine. That's going to start it all. I mean, didn't any of these scientists read zombie books or see the movies? It's such a boring dystopia, as one buddy of mine remarked the other week. You know, at least Frankfurt has murders of crows for a bit of the macabre. And before we get started, first let me have a sip. So before we get started on President Donald John Trump and the CCTV footage of Georgia poll workers pulling out suitcases full of ballots, there are still some good times to be had. I mean, come on. Here's an example.
I fucking love autumn.
Yeah, I've been hanging with Stanley's buddy Rob a bit at my office/bar. And that guy sure knows how to enjoy autumn, doesn't he? But it's been such a bore. I mean, my life is so uneventful. And all the masks, they're freaking me out. You know, it was probably boredom that led me to buy, this Tudor Black Bay GMT the other week. I don't know, you can't see that, but watch this. Voila. Now, would you mind indulging me for just a few moments? Thank you. So, Tudor, it's what a Rolex used to be. You know, that's in my opinion, which is a quality beater. I'd say the Explorer and Air King are the only beaters left in Rolex's professional collection, which for me is Rolex's beater collection. And they screwed up the Explorer by making it a 39 millimeter and didn't keep it at 36. It was so perfect at 36. You know, and all the new ones, they're all so shiny, and some even have polished center links in the bracelets. And why the heck would Rolex make the sub 41 millimeters? And Cerachrome? Really? Okay, I admit it, I'd probably buy a sub no date if I could find one at an AD. But a new one on the secondary market will set you back 3/4 of a Bitcoin. And Bitcoin just recently hit its all-time high that most people didn't even notice. At an authorized dealer, you could have a sub for less than half a Bitcoin, if you could find one. Of course, that's not going to happen. But if you're thinking about a Tudor, you know, which is the sister brand of Rolex, they're like the little brother of Rolex, don't make the mistake of thinking you're getting a Rolex because you're not. My 2018 Air King beats this watch silly, but then again, the Tudor was almost half the price. And I went for the cloth strap because that's kind of a bit of a lie. They only had the cloth strap, but I definitely would not have gone for the steel bracelet. I would have taken it off immediately because it has faux rivets. I mean, come on, Tudor. Fake rivets are for a cheap fashion watch. I just put mine on an inexpensive NATO that I had for my SKX 009, and it's now my beater travel watch. And it's so damn comfortable. I often forget I'm wearing it. That's a lot different than my Air King. But I've decided not to buy any more watches until I can disassemble and reassemble an ETA 2892. I don't want to be like a classic car collector that can't even rebuild a carburetor, for God's sake. And I'll probably just buy vintage watches from now on. And I should make my goal to only buy used stuff except for underwear and socks and shoes. Did you ever see that guy, the Church of Stop Shopping, was it? He made some great vids long ago. Okay, I'll buy some new gadgets now and again, of course. But does this world really need more shit? I mean, we're turning the world into one big dump, and almost everything's throwaway these days. We've commoditized everything, right? We've even commoditized ourselves. We've become worthless. And speaking of worthless, I see that President Donald John Trump, I just love saying John, hasn't given up yet. But who's listening? Everyone's moving on, Mr. President.
Thank you. This may be the most important speech I've ever made. I want to provide an update on our ongoing efforts to expose the tremendous voter fraud and irregularities which took place during the ridiculously long November 3rd elections.
Sorry. No. Nothing but baseless claims. Yeah. Just like those unfounded claims that the U.S. government was spying on its citizens. Crazy stuff. How is all this possible? Could it be because of systemic tyranny? Don't you like the ring of that? Systemic tyranny. Since most people seem quick to accept systemic racism, should it not be just a little hop to also acknowledge systemic tyranny? So, according to Wikipedia, which is kind of like the Bible, it's all true, but institutional racism or systemic racism was defined by Sir William McPherson, and he must be a racist because he's a sir. Just kidding, Billy. But in the UK's, he defined it in the UK's Lawrence Report in 1999 as the collective failure of an organization to provide an appropriate and professional service to people because of their color, culture, or ethnic origin. It can be seen or detected in processes, attitudes, and behavior that amount to discrimination through prejudice, ignorance, thoughtlessness, and racist stereotyping, which disadvantage minority ethnic people. I say we change a few things. So tyranny is defined as oppressive power exerted by the government. So tyranny can be seen or detected in the processes, attitudes, and behavior that amount to government oppression and disadvantage the majority of the citizenry. The majority of people include you and me, the plebes. That's why people are freaking out about the Wu flu. The government doesn't care about you or me. As Thomas Jefferson wrote in a letter to James Madison in 1787, I own I am not a friend to a very energetic government. It is always oppressive. And how energetic the U.S. government has become. Ooh, it's up and in every aspect of our lives now. And for the first time ever, it cares about the health of its citizens? That's more novel than this coronavirus, isn't it? I mean, come on. Yeah, more novel than this coronavirus. I like John Basil Barnhill's quick tyranny litmus test. Where the people fear the government, you have tyranny. Where the government fears the people, you have liberty. A variation is usually ascribed to T.J. Thomas Jefferson, but no, it was Mr. Barnhill. So let me ask you, do you fear the government, or do you think it fears you? Does it fear you? Oh, I bet it does. All right, let's go to this week's Asshat, which is Centers for Disease Control Director Dr. Robert R. Redfield. So the other day, Dr. Redfield said December and January and February are going to be rough times. I actually believe they're going to be the most difficult time in the public health history of this nation, largely because of the stress that it's going to put on our healthcare system. Now, he may be right, and that is precisely why he is the asshat of the week. The CDC failed big time throughout this whole Wu flu. Hell, just like the Robert Koch Institute here in Germany, the CDC didn't recommend wearing masks simply because there weren't enough to go around way back when. Hey, Dr. Redfield Snafu, I also seem to recall that at the start of the whole Wu flu in the US, there was a 21-day delay in testing because your guys and gals screwed up the initial test kits. Remember that? So I really don't know how anyone can believe anything the CDC says, given what can only be termed incompetence. God damn it. So Dr. Robert R. Redfield, you are our asshat of the week. So what are you supposed to do? Huh? What are we supposed to do? I don't know. Let's bring on the zombies and cut through this ennui. I just like to say ennui. Be strong, Destino. Have a great week. Don't coof. Don't coof on anybody. Don't let a coofer coof on you. And be well. Take care. Cheers.